Hello, hello, my cosmically curious friends. Welcome back. I'm Tara Kindon, your astrologer and human design expert. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey today around the full moon in Leo energy. We're going to look at the human design, we're going to look at the astrology, and I'm going to try to give you as succinct as possible of the vibes that are here for you to enjoy today. While this is happening right before Valentine's Day, I'm wearing my Valentine's Day outfit for you. All right, so let's dive in. The first thing I'm going to show you is the astrology chart, and then we're going to go into the human design as well. So you can kind of play in both worlds. If you're brand new to astrology and human design, all I want you to do is lean back, grab a drink, and just feel into how this energy lands in your body. Okay, so when we start with this chart, we're always kind of looking, okay, well, what's on the ascendant here? Taurus ascendant, great. We're going to be looking at, or we're all going to be feeling things around our self-worth, our money, all the things to do with our value, what we're building in this lifetime. Like this is where, Uranus here on that ascendant, Uranus is that god of shakeup. We feel very electric in his energy. He's kind of the rogue entrepreneur, getting us out of the shells that we've put ourselves in to experience more of life, which can be overwhelming for some and feel a little bit unsettling. It can also feel very electric. And the energy of that Uranus is making a connection over to the sun in Aquarius. So what this is doing is this is encouraging all of our vitality. Like, do we feel powerful in ourselves or do we feel powerless? And this is a question I think we're all playing with at this time in our lives. So just asking yourself that question, like, do I feel, the things that are being shaken up in my life right now, well, they may be completely unsettling, completely destabilizing. Do I feel powerful enough that I could create new change in my life? And this is a very complicated topic, but it's something I just want you to play with. Be in the space of curiosity around what can I do with this energy? Now, the new moon in Leo happened on August the 4th. So one thing you can do is go back through your phone or your journals from August of last year. What was happening for you? What was being initiated? Because it's beginning to come to full fruition. This is that period now we're in the full moon in Leo. So it's sort of, okay, what are you grateful for? What has come through from your intentions that you set maybe back in August? And if you never set any intentions, just looking through that content on your phone or in your journal will show you where you were focusing your energy. And what's interesting about this moon, that full moon we're in, and that new moon that was happening in Leo back in August is that Saturn was at exactly the same point in the chart. So you can see him here at 18 degrees of Pisces. And in the new moon chart, he was at 18 degrees of Pisces retrograde. So now he's kind of like moving on and forward. And there was something we've been really working around: our boundaries, our sense of structure, our sense like what have you been building in the Pisces area of your chart? Because that now has more legs and more clarity. And I like to think of Saturn and Pisces as this beautiful gift to all the creatives saying, you know what? We can do this, set boundaries around your creativity so that you can build structure here. You can make money with your art, with your creative endeavors. It's like full permission to all of the people who have had a very hard time in their lives up until this point of having permission to just be 100% authentic and 100% creative, right? Like this is that energy that I feel like we've been really working with. Now, when it is a full moon, obviously the moon is opposite to the sun. So this is where our full moon illumination is happening here in the Leo part of your chart. Okay, Leo part of your chart, you want to look there to see, all right, what house is that in? For example, in this chart, it's in the 5th house, which may be, for a collective consciousness, it's about being, again, creative and playful and pleasure filled and joy filled, very almost youthful and childlike, bringing back part of the dreams maybe that you let go way back when. You're getting a chance to revisit some of this stuff. So I'm curious to see how that's feeling for all of you. And then, of course, we still have Mars, who is retrograde and out of bounds in Cancer, who is deferring to the energy of this moon. And what does that mean? It just means that a Mars in Cancer is a little frustrated. He has been here for a really long time. He's like, oh my God, when do we get to move forward? He's think of him as like running underwater. So it's like the planet of action has been drowning a little bit. And he's been like, oh, I just can't seem to get things moving or going. Don't worry, my friends. Once he goes direct, you're going to have so much clarity, so much momentum, and it's going to make a big difference in your life in that way. Now, let's just kind of go to the human design and come back to this, because I feel like this will be really helpful to tie it all in together for you. What in the hell am I sharing right now? You should be able to see the human design chart now. So it's a full moon in Leo chart. All the energy of the present is here. This is kind of what was percolating in before. So you felt this every time we get a full moon. It's like this big buildup of energy that kind of crests and then subsides a little bit. And we've been feeling the intensity of this building for a little while now, and it got really intense. So hopefully at this point, when you're watching this video, it's kind of starting to subside and crest a little bit. Okay, so the energy that we're all collectively in with this human design is your emotional manifestors. What does this mean, guys? We are all feeling so highly attuned and emotional that it is a really big call to emotional healing and emotional wellness at this time in our lives. And I don't think that this is going away anytime soon. We can no longer deny our emotions. And for so many of us, growing up, you were like, be seen, not heard, no drama. Oh, save those tears for another day. And unintentional. I mean, this was just the generational times and how we navigate changes in generational times. But here we are now, all feeling all the feels, and it's a lot. It's a lot of feelings. We don't know what to do with them because we've never been allowed to actually feel them. And you know what? Somebody who has a lot of emotions, but has emotional awareness to be honest with those emotions, is safe to be around. When you don't know how you feel, those feelings, when they rise up, they've got more behind them. You know what I mean? More intensity, more eruptions, and they come out of nowhere because they never have space to be felt. So in order to move through a healing process, we do need to feel it to heal it. So just a little, going off script for a hot second, because I do think we're just in an emotionally awakening time. And what this emotion can do for us is actually help us to manifest faster, help us to release it, feel into, our world and people we're around, giving us your feelings, as an emotional manifester, just the energy that we're in for this full moon, because we all feel what we're in. And even though you have a chart that is, a beautiful chart that is all you in one snapshot of your energy, there are always transits every single day. Planets are moving, things are interacting, we're around other people, and that also changes the energy of our situation, the situational energy, right? And so when you can understand that, yes, you have this beautiful chart, and then we're also all experiencing this energy in a transit, you begin to understand how important it is to get to know the transits, not to transit chase, but just to get to know, okay, well, these may be the vibes that we're in. And if you're curious about that, go join my Instagram broadcast channel, because every day I put up a little blurb about, the vibes that we're in. And I've actually just started an awesome subscription on Instagram where you're going to get little love notes in a voice note from me about the energies we're in. And we're just going to play with some new things to help you deepen your understanding of the cosmos. So this is literally for the cosmically curious. And if that's you, maybe you want to go check that out. So just go to my Instagram at Tara Kinden Co. and you will be able to access, the broadcast channel for free. And if you want to get into the subscription, it's there. It's like $6.99 or something. It's very cheap. All right. So when we're looking at this chart, let's look at the planets. These are the planets that run down here: the sun, the earth, north node, south node, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron. This is Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, so when we look at the sun, this is the vitality. This is where the sun is illuminating, and the sun happens to be in gate 49, which is the gate of the catalyst. And this is where, really cataclysmic events can take place. So you may have insights coming through and to you that have just been mind blowing over the last couple of days, and where you may have felt yourself just cutting away things. And you may have more clarity right now because 2 days ago, the sun met up with Mercury, and there was a Mercury Kazimi, and that's where Sun kissed Mercury, helped Mercury to become reborn, and Ceres was also involved, and she just cuts away anything that is fluff, no longer necessary. So you may have been making some very big decisions, maybe in your mind, and they haven't quite, come out into the real world yet, but you've been thinking about these things and shifting and changing in ways that are even maybe shocking to you. Now, the earth, how do we stay grounded in this energy when it does feel very emotional and our minds can feel very overwhelmed? So if your mind is feeling very overwhelmed, the number one goal for all of us is to stay in the place of possibility, which right now I feel like is a very challenging thing to do. Seeing potential when everything feels like it's breaking away, falling away, changing and shifting at such a rapid speed that you can't even catch your breath. So how can you stay in that space of possibility? I wonder if you could become a mad scientist for the next 6 months, wonder what it could be like if, I wonder if I let myself play. Like maybe you get an inkling to go and take a pottery class and you're like, what? I wonder what it would feel. Do it, do it, do it. Throw spaghetti at the wall and do all the things that are coming in, popping up, feeling good. Trust your feelings very, very, very much so for the next, I would say the whole year, honestly. Really tuning into feelings and emotions. Now, that's where we stay grounded. That's also where the moon is today. Okay, so that moon is also in the gate of 4, which is the gate of possibilities right now. And I'm using the language of quantum human design. This is Karen Curry Parker's language. I know people will have all kinds of different languages that they use. Again, lean into how it feels for you as opposed to dissecting all the information, because it's just too much. You don't need to be in the weeds of all the things. Like, how does it feel? Yeah, that resonates. Great. If it doesn't, throw it out. That's totally fine. All right, North Node here is in the gate 36. This is the gate of exploration. And the gate of exploration also runs off this emotional solar plexus. Okay, so this is the emotional center. This is where and you just see all of these gates that are activated. It's bonkers. We've got a lot of energy there, a lot of energy in the throat. And this is beautiful because it's a very quick manifestation energy if you are aware of it. And yes, even though it's a full moon, we're not setting new intentions or manifesting, but I think like you can be manifesting all the time, my friend. There doesn't need to be a special time and a special moment, and it doesn't need to be like a magic ritual to get you the things. It's like it can be, but you can also do this anytime, anywhere with nothing, right? It's about here, it's about your heart, and it's about how you feel about it. The more feeling you can put behind it, the longer you can hold and sustain that excitement, the quicker it can get here. And that just is the way it is. All right. So explore all your options. Start to feel, how can you hold the frequency of something really exciting for an extended period of time? Because sometimes what'll happen is you get this idea and you get really, really excited. The energy starts to flow. You can feel the butterflies building. There's a really big, almost like eruptive energy that comes up with a really good idea. And then what happens? Then it hits I like to think it hits the will center and it goes, but are you worthy of that? How are you going to do that? All the hows, all that stuff starts to get in the way. The moment that happens, just leave it. Don't try to force the manifest, just leave it. And then when you feel that bubble up again, get excited and see how long you can hold it. That's the goal. Okay. South node is that we're moving away from this energy of impact. And I mean, I don't know who hasn't been impacted by just collective energy of people's. You walk into rooms and you're like, oh my goodness, like the vibe in here sucks. And I want you to know how powerful you are and how powerful your energy is. So if you can just work 100% on your vibe and your frequency and your impact, you can change the room. You can change the room wherever you go if you so choose to. Now, it's very easy to get sucked into the downward spiral of a negative energy in a room and a negative positive. It doesn't feel good. Okay. If the energy in the space doesn't feel good, if you come into your house hot and bothered from work and then you kind of like contaminate your house with that energy, how can you change it? Do you have the awareness to change it? That's something just to be playing with, because you're that powerful. Now, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is in the gate 30, the gate of passion, again, running off that emotional solar plexus, really encouraging us. Are we being passionate about the right things? Are we putting ourselves behind and our emotional energy behind something? Are we seeding the things that matter? It's just like being very mindful, because Mercury is about the mind and communication. And we want to make sure that on the other side of that is the 41. And that's where Pluto is. So Pluto has these seeds that are needing to be planted, but they need the passion from that Mercury. So if you're getting an idea, maybe you've got all these ideas that got popped in over the last couple of days. Have you been writing them down? Have you been taking them and just holding on to them like this seed so that you can plant them in the right time? Because that's going to be really important. So keep an eye on that. What ideas have come through? Am I, holding those seeds close to my heart to give them time to grow? Am I writing them down? Am I nourishing them? Am I watering them? Am I playing in the energy of what if, as opposed to I can't? Now, Venus is the goddess of our magnetism, right? She's our self-worth, our self-value. She teaches us about how we attract things towards us and what we are attracted to. So in your natal chart, it'll show you exactly for you, but collectively right now, she's here in the gate 17, and the gate 17 is up in the head here in the ajna, your third eye. And this is about anticipation. And sometimes we know, oh, I know that. And we don't even play in the space of learning more. We're just like, no, I know. I've tried this before, it didn't work. Or, that could be the story. So you want to watch the stories that are showing up for you in your Venusian energy. Like, are you running on the same track with the same kind of partner and it's not working out, but you just, this, it's comfortable, whatever, right? Watch that energy, okay, how it's showing up. So Mars is in gate 53. He is out of bounds. He is not a happy dude here. He is frustrated in that Cancer energy, and he's in the gate of starting. So he wants to get starting something, but he's frustrated and he can't get it going. And it's very annoying. So if you're feeling that energy, like, okay, Tara, I've got all these ideas, I want to move them forward, but it's frustrating because I'm stuck here and I don't know how to do that. Write them down, hold the frequency, plant those seeds, water the seeds, nourish the energy of it. You don't need to force it to grow. This is a nourishment stage and phase, and it's also slowing us all down so that we can be in our bodies and our emotions, which has been really hard, especially if you're the kind of person who's always in action, always moving, never slows down. It can be a lot, because when you're feeling all the feels, it can be intense. So how can you help yourself? Look, I actually am in the middle of taking a Bach flower course because I find that these Bach flowers are incredible. I don't know if you guys can see that. This is the rescue remedy. Anyway, and if you can go to your local health food store, I'm actually going to be creating, having consultations for people around this and creating special formulations for them to help with their energy, because I find they fizzle your shizzle. So if you got a lot of shizzle going on, you want to go and get these. They can fizzle you out and help you calm down. They don't interact with medications either. They have little lozenges. and they just help you to get out of that fight or flight state and just put you back in your body and help you, fizzle your shizzle, my friend. And that's what we could all use, a little fizzling of our shizzling. All right. Let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter's in the gate 35, and the gate 35 is up here off of the throat center. And when we look at gate 35, we think about the experiences that we're calibrating ourselves into, what we're asking for, right? And we want to make sure, what are we ready and willing to commit to? Because when you speak it, it starts to come through, right? We think about the thing, we feel the feelings behind it, we start to feel the frequency. And while we feel the frequency, if we're speaking it into action, it just comes through so much faster. So watch, what you're committing to right now. And is it something you are ready to expand? Okay. Stay in the place of curiosity. Be curious right now. It's really important. Be curious, be in that body, feel all your feelings. And, you don't have to know what you want to do with them all at once. When we look at Saturn, so if you remember, Saturn is in the same gate he was in at the new moon. And I want you to remember, look back to August the 4th ish and around there. What were you starting then? What was going on? What was on your mind? Gate 22 is about surrender, surrendering into the flow, surrendering into the feminine, being more receptive, opening up to receive. Like, are you able to receive gifts, to receive help, to receive ideas? Are you even open to that? And this is about the emotional center. So if you're not open to receive these feelings, which are guiding you, their little guidance system, it's that inner authority, especially as an emotional manifester, the vibe we're collectively feeling. Are we receiving the information through our feels? Like, does this feel good for you? That's always the question. How are you actually feeling today? And then Chiron is the wounded healer, as you all know. And I forgot to mention like what everybody does, but we'll keep talking about the things and it will all make sense. So when we look at Chiron, we look to that wounded healing energy. Where are we all struggling a little bit? And it's our path. We are so programmed to just keep on moving even when. And while that is helpful, sometimes we do need to slow down. Sometimes we miss the emotional guidance and we miss the mark. We miss the thing we were supposed to see because we were so busy just moving forward. And so what happens with this energy is it's here in the will center and it shocks us back onto where we're meant to be going. So you can think of this as like when something happens that is completely out of the norm, that is very unsettling, that is like a little shocking. It's something to help you get onto the track you're meant to be on. I know you don't like that, but I'm sorry. It's just what it is. So how can you play with it instead of fighting against it? Okay, Uranus is in the gate 23. This is the gate of transmission. The gate of 23 is up here. And sometimes this is freakishly ahead of its time. This is Uranus. Freakishly ahead of its time. I just released a podcast about out of balance planets and Uranus information. You may want to go check that out. I'm going to put that information below in the show notes so you can go and check it out. And then Neptune here. Neptune is in Pisces in the chart. And Neptune really wants us to be connecting to something bigger than ourselves. What is the spirit? What is the spiritual? What is your spiritual practice look like? What does it, how do you let yourself be in connection? Maybe it's walking in the woods. Maybe it's sitting by the ocean. Maybe it's going to church. Maybe it's sitting in temple with your friends. Whatever it is that is your spiritual practice, it's important that you cultivate some kind of spiritual practice. And then lastly, Pluto. Pluto's in the gate 41, which is the gate of imagination. And remember, Pluto is making that connection over here to Mercury, who is in the gate 30. So we're really cultivating the seeds and nourishing those seeds. Now, I also just want to pull a couple of cards quick for you, and then I'll set you loose on your full moon day and your full moon energy. So here is a little bit of insight into what is here for you, what you can do with this energy. I always like to clear my cards with a selenite wand. And we'll pull 3 cards. Okay, so the first card up is the indulgence card. And this is a beautiful reminder to actually continue to have pleasure in your life, even when it feels completely chaotic. The rest and relax card, which you all know you need. This is about getting into the body. This is about being in the energies of you. And then the change card. We all know that is also a straight up thing. Change is here. Change is here. And yes, you've seen how far you've come. Even using this full moon to celebrate yourself, like you made it. You made it. I know a lot of people are struggling right now, but you made it. You're here. This is what's going on. So let's just quickly go back to the astrology chart. And guys, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Put them in the comments below and I will answer your questions. I want to be here to help you out. So everything that we just talked about, and I also love to add in the feminine asteroids because I think they offer us so much insight and so much information to help us on our journey and our paths forward. The one thing I do really want to bring to your attention is Hygeia. So Hygeia here, she's the goddess of preventative health and wellness. She is in Taurus. She is in Taurus. So she really wants us to take amazing care of our bodies, of our minds, of our energetic selves, of our spiritual selves, and, being aware of the emotions that are bubbling up for you. Give yourself a little bit of grace as you're navigating. And look, if you're not perfect every day, it's okay. Nobody is. And these emotions are a lot. It's a lot to be in. It's a lot to feel. So again, you know where to find me. You can find me on Instagram at @TaraKindonCo. Get in that broadcast channel. Share this video with a friend who is just like needing to be reminded that you actually have a body. This body is getting us through this lifetime. It cannot be replaced. Parts of it can, but the whole unit can't be. So we need to take amazing care of it in however you can right now. And I think number one is nourish yourself as much as possible. Get out of this fight or flight state. There's so many nervous system resets, but I tell you, Bach flowers, my friends, go and buy some Bach flowers. And if you are in the area, if you're around me and you need some support, again, where to find me. All right. Have a beautiful full moon day, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for your time, your energy, and your love. And again, if you have some questions, please throw them in the comments below. DM me on Instagram. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.